This conference will now be recorded.
Hello guys, good morning everyone. Guys, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay, let's get started. Today we are going to talk about import sets. Import sets is very important, pretty much simple. So what is import sets? So first of all, you would like to know what is import sets and where we can use it. Import sets will be allowed to ServiceNow administrators to import the bulk data from various external data sources. For example, if you want to create 5 user records manually, it will take 5 minutes of time. If you want to create 10, 20, 30, 100, up to 100, you will be able to create each record manually. But if you want to create 1,000 user records manually, it is time consuming process. That moment, you will be able to import bulk data into ServiceNow table. Okay, bulk data into ServiceNow tables from external data sources. Okay, so first of all, we need to make it ready your Excel file or XML, any other file, your kind of source. So we can use that source data that can be imported into ServiceNow table. So the import set table can act as a staging area for record import from various data sources. Data should not be imported in extremely large files that may be cause of some problems. For example, I have one lakh records in my Excel file. Okay, so don't import those 1 lakh records into your table single time. Okay, so if you want to import 1 lakh user records into the user table, so first of all you can divide that 1 lakh record into multiple parts, like two parts. So each time you can import 50,000 of data. Okay, a transfer map can be defining the relation between that. Like, so I'm going to be cover these all the topics and components which are in import sets. So import set supporting files. Maybe CSV or Excel, XML, and JSON. Sometimes directly you are going to interacting with third-party application. Okay, to importing the data into ServiceNow table. Now let's start working with exercise number one, importing Excel file. We will import Excel file that is representing each row is the one record in the table, each column is one field in the table. So we are going to importing the data into which table? Sys underscore user table. If you want to import bulk data into sys underscore user table, first of all, your Excel file make it ready. So we have to follow this procedure to importing the bulk data. So first we need to create a data source file and then open empty Excel file and create 8 or more user records. So in my case, already I create a one Excel file. In this Excel file, I have taken 8 to 10 user records. Don't take more than 10 user records not required. For better understanding, so you can take more than don't take more than 15 records. So 5 records, 10 records, below 10 records enough to understand how the import set application is working. Okay, so Sachin, Virendra Sehwag, Yuvraj Singh, Virat Kohli, Suresh Raina, Saurav Ganguly, and Abel Tutor. So first row you need to consider it is a header of your table. And now I'm going to importing how many records, how many user records into user table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In my case, I'm going to import only 7 records into ServiceNow user table, sys underscore user table. Okay. So in your case also you can create some user records manually. You can take your friends' names, family members' names, like a colleague, okay, anybody you can take it. Okay, so already I have taken some user records. Okay, my file is ready. So after that, what we can do? You have to follow the given steps in the documentation to importing the bulk data into ServiceNow table. Okay, Excel file ready. So navigate to system import sites, click on load data. Navigate to system import sites and very first module go to load data. So now our data is available in XML file, right? Excel file. ServiceNow table cannot accept to directly import the data into like a table because the data is in Excel file. ServiceNow data is going to store in the table format. All right. So the Excel file directly we can't import it to ServiceNow table. That's why I'm going to create one new staging table. New staging table is nothing but it's a temporary table. Okay, so go to create table. Table is September import tax 2021. You know already when you provide the name of the label, the table name should be taken automatically. And source of the import, I'm not going to connecting any data sources. So our data is available in the file. The file we have to select option as an option. So go to choose file and where your data is located, navigate it to your file location, user record for importing, open it. And so what about sheet number one and add row? Okay, so in Excel file may contain n number of sheets. Sheet number two, three, four. Now our data is available in which sheet? Sheet number one. So in this case, we have to select the sheet number. And first row, don't consider it's a record. First row we need to consider as it's a header. Okay, so which row you want to set as header? So that sheet number one header we need to configure. Click on submit. Wait for a few seconds. So import set processor. So now status showing as running and see now status is changes to complete. Completion code is success and total how many records are inserted? 8 records are inserted including header also. First step is completed and move to second step and create the transform map. So before going to working with transform map, first of all, you'd like to know what is transform map. Transform map is a staging area. There we can configure the source and target tables, fields and columns to map the fields to sending the data to the target table. Okay, so meanwhile we have to provide the transform map name September transform map 2021 and a source table. The table has been already created, right? September import sets. So our data is already located and imported in which table? Source table, right? The source table is what is staging table, and this data need to be imported into which target table? The target table we have to select. Okay, underscore user. Guess what? Why we are going to importing the bulk data into ServiceNow table? For example, if you want to create 10 user records manually, it can be possible. We can do it. If you want to create 100 user records, yes, it can be possible. We can create it manually. But more than 100, if you want to create the records manually, it is time consuming process. That's why we are going to importing the bulk data into ServiceNow table following by import set processor. Okay, so now we have to mapping the source and target tables. So what are the fields are available? What are the fields are available in the source table and target table? Okay, and enforce mandatory fields. Suppose while importing some data into the target table, in case is there any mandatory fields, system is not allowed to import the data. So at this moment, I don't want to check it out. So when you select that all fields, it will be checking all the mandatory fields. What are the mandatory fields are there? Is it will be checking that so the person is fulfill the value or not. Okay, this moment I don't want to check it and save it. Save it and auto matching fields. This is a third step. Auto matching fields. Source table I already have selected. This is a target table and I don't want to check any mandatory fields if it is already there. And so here we can find the fields are mapped properly or not, that may be source to destination target. First name to first name, title to title, all the fields are mapped properly. If you want to check the fields are mapped properly or not, so click on that auto matching fields. Field maps will be created. Now I want to check that assisting the fields are mapped properly or not. Here we can find the details about your field mapping. First name to first name, title to title, username to user ID, last name to last name, department, other details. Okay, so now I want to check the only mapped fields and save it. So field maps has been created internally. And next one, I'm going to talking about Colask. So what is a Colask? So Colask is nothing but a field property. When you set the field property true, system will not allow to create any duplicate records. It is mainly avoiding creating the duplicate records into target table. For example, able tutor. So able tutor user record already existed in my user table. So once again, service to administrator is trying to import this record also. This case system can be identified. So the same record is already existing in the same table. System won't allow to create the record. Just it should be allowed to updating with the new values. Okay, so you have to first always that unique keys. Okay, so classic nothing but a field property. Unique keys always we have to pass as a classic and save it. And once again save the record. Once again save the record. Then set. So the field maps has been created and email address is passed as a classic. So what is the unique value of the each record? Each user record unique value is always email. So a user may contain only one email address, one mobile number, one employee ID. So while passing that classic always should pass the only unique values. Okay, so this case I'm going to email address pass as a classic. Update, update transfer map. Okay, so now I'm going to transforming. Sixth step is transforming the data. Here it will be showing, so you are going to transforming that transform script. Go to transform, and here we can see all the details about the import set record. and a transform map history. So open transform map history and a total have taken 7 records. Okay, so one record I have taken, so total 8 records, inserted 6 records, updated one record has been skipped because it's a header, and this is all information we can see here. Okay, guys, now let me show that so whether the record has been created or not, where we can check that system import sets. No, where we have to check sys underscore user dot list. Click on update. Yes. So these all 7 records I have created recently. Am I clear? Do you have any queries up to now? Guys, do you have any questions? Okay. This is the way how to import bulk data into ServiceNow table through system import set application. And coming to second point, why we need to import the bulk data. Okay, so why we need to import bulk data? For example, if you want to create 5 user records manually, it can be possible. But if you want to create 2 lakhs records manually, it is time consuming process. Instead of creating that each user record manually, just you can approach through, follow through import set application. But how can you get the source data? So if the source data is already available, already created in any Active Directory, okay, through nlab integrations directly, so those data can export it to an Excel or XML file. That Excel or XML file, I can take it as a source file. That source file we can import it to target table. If you observe or notice very clearly, Sachin Tendulkar, Yuvraj Singh, Suresh Raina, Sehwag, Ashwin, Ganguly, Kohli, so these all the records has been created. But so what about able tutor? Anybody notice, guys? So able tutor is one more record, right? So able tutor, like a record is already existing, means so able tutor mail ID is already is there in underscore user table. That's why my import set is not create a duplicate record. Just it was updated with remaining values. Now let me check it was updated remaining values or not. Go to able. Where is able to record? So able tutor is the default record in user table. Once again, I tried to create the table dot record, but the assumption is I don't want to create any duplicate records into the sys underscore user table. So why you want to avoid it? I don't want to create the duplicate records multiple times. That's why we have to avoiding the duplicate records creation. Okay, so able to record is there. So it was updated with the remaining values because the system is find that this mail ID is already existing into my user table. Okay, can you guys any questions up to now? And next one, suppose, so you can take the same file, and sometimes, so the service administrator made some changes, like here I am going to changing IT. I'm changing how many records, IT technician. So two records have been updated. So first you can save it. So these changes also I want replicated to my target table. So how can you import this data also, these updates also? How can you update? How can you update these details also into ServiceNow table? So let me open it. Navigate to system import sets, system import sets, load data. No need to create any double like a new table for every time. This case I'm using that existing one, and the same file you can take it, sheet number one, and add a number, add a row, right? One, and the transform map is already created, right? Transform map, which is already created. Transform map is already created. Okay, so let me open my transform map, September transform map 2021, and then directly open the transform. No need to mapping and all those things already mapped, right? Directly we can transform it. And if you go to transform history, here we can see all the details. Total how many records in my Excel file? 8 records in Excel file. How many records are inserted into the same table? Nothing. So these all the records are already inserted. So because it is find that all the Gmail like email addresses. So how many records are ignored? 7 records are ignored. 1 record is skipped. Okay. So nothing happened. So 2 records are updated, right? But those updates are not replicated. Why? Actually, it has to be updated to records. I think we have to map it. Without mapping, so we can't do it. Once again, let me open that. I'm changing something. Virat Kohli. Srinivas. Save it. Total 2 records are updated. 1 record is inserted. Like let me update this one also. So 2 records are updated. Like existing records are updated. Also 1 record is created. Save this and go to my file, load data, take existing table and choose file, use the record for importing and submit. And let me open transfer maps. Open our transfer map is September transfer map 2021. Okay, and classic not required. Auto mapping matching fields. You have to map the fields out of as fields maps has been created, and then go to mapping assist. Need to check that maps are created properly or not. Yes, field maps are created properly, and map fields only I want to move, save it. And the last step is you have to transform. Transform. And go to transform history. So here we can see the some details. So total, how many records are inserted? 700. Actually, skipped one record, skipped, ignored 7 records, ignored 2 out of 8, and 2 records are updated, right? But these records are not updated. What was wrong? Something is wrong into row number 7. What was the wrong? Saurabh Ganguly, solution consultant. So let me do it once again. I have removed this one. Again, load the data. Select the same file and go to transform maps. Open our transform map September transform map 2021. Auto mapping matching assist. Mapping assist. Map fields only and save it. Then transform it. Transform. Check the transform history. So total 8 records I have taken. So 7 records are ignored. One record is kept fine because which is already created, and ignored 7 records. So because 7 records already created, and I need to update the 2 records, right? But the 2 records are not updated. Let me check in that system underscore user dot list. So you can try, guys. It will work in definitely. Okay. Suppose when you want to update something, some records you want to update manually to your table. It's very difficult, right? So what are the records you want to update? Again, now get to user your table. So your Excel file, something you can update here and you can check there. So how many records are updated, how many records inserted. So those are information also you can be able to find. Okay. And the next one, so import scheduling. Okay. So this is the homework I'm giving to you guys. It's very simple topic. You can follow the documentation to complete it. Okay. So load demo data. Always we have to load the demo data into staging table. A transform map is a staging area. There we can map the source and target tables. And multiple transforms single time you can be able to do it. And what is scholastic? Scholastic nothing but a field property. So when you set it true, the system is not allowing to create any duplicate records. Sometimes it is used to updating existing record as well. So if you are not created any scholastic every time, so each record as a unique. Okay, so while importing the bulk data into ServiceNow table, so classic is always must like a mandatory. Okay, and single field classic and multi field classic. Sometimes you will be able to create multi field classic also. And so for example, so you are created two classics. One is that email address, second one is a department like a mail address. Email address, second one is a employee ID. So first of all, we're checking that email address. If the email address is already there and checking that employee ID, so when the first value is identified, it won't update, it won't create. So it will be updated with new values. So when you create multiple clusters, it will be checking the two values. Okay, it will be checking the two values, then only it will be allowed to create inserting the records. So imports, that's scripting part we can discuss later when we can start the scripting. And now so you can follow the schedule imports. So exercise number 2, schedule data import. So we can schedule imports, make it possible to specify that certain import activity. For example, tomorrow I'm not available in aggregation, I'm going to vacation. Tomorrow morning 9 o'clock I want create insert lakhs of record into the table. It's not manual, so following by these all the steps, so you can be able to achieve the requirement. So guys, will you follow the documentation to complete this requirement? Schedule importing. Schedule import can be defining importing the data based on the schedule time as per the requirement. Any queries up to now? Any questions, guys?
Check this, Shravan.
Please.
Sir, how many records we are able to import?
Sorry.
How many records we are able to import to Excel?
Your voice is not audible, Shravan.
Sir, how many records we are able to import through Excel?
Your voice is breaking. How many records?
We are able to import through Excel.
Okay, you are asking about the limit, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
No limitation, no limitation 7. Suppose I have taken in my Excel file only 10 records. This time shown that example purpose. In the real case, you may contain n number of records, but don't take the any like chunk records. Like don't take more than 50,000. For example, you want to import 1 crore records. So don't import 1 crore records single time into ServiceNow instance. It's not best practice. So, those 1 crore record, we can split into multiple sheets. Sheet number 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 20. Each sheet you can take 50,000 records. So at a time we can import 50,000 record. Once completed, come to second sheet. Then we can finish that second 50,000 records. Then 3, 4, 5 like that. Don't import like more than 50,000 and chunk records, one crores of records. But so anyway, so import sets use it to import in the bulk data into ServiceNow table single time. But don't take more than like 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. Depends on your like system performance and the flexibility. We can import in the limited records, 20,000, 50,000 up to that. That would be fine. So more than 50, it may be impact on the system. Maybe. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, guys. So this is about import sets. So like I have given that one exercise. You can start working in home. Okay, that is homework. You can complete your homework by today itself. Okay, tomorrow. So we are going to working with update sets. Update sets. Okay.